Thank you for staying with us this noon for our coverage of John Goodman's DUI manslaughter trial. And we expect the prosecution to call witnesses into next week before the defense takes up their case. News Channel 5's Roxanne Stein has been heading up our team coverage from the county courthouse, and she has a look at what's to come this afternoon. Roxanne, we know yesterday only the homicide investigator was on the witness stand. Today, 4 more witnesses called. What has the mood in the morning been like?
Well, it's been tense in the courtroom, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment, Keely, because of the intricate testimony and questioning that has been going on this morning. They adjourned for lunch about a half hour ago, but as we found out, the jury went to lunch, but there was a major sidebar as legal issues were being debated with the judge and both sides. And we'll talk to our legal analyst about that in just a moment. But first, we want to get back to that questioning that we talked about in the witness testimony that was given this morning by the 2 witnesses that took the stand thus far. Let's get more on that from Christina Mora, who is on the other side of the courthouse, continuing our team coverage. Christina, it was specific questioning as well this morning, wasn't it?
Very specific. They're the prosecution taking you step by step that night, seemingly very meticulous details that we're hearing. The first on stand was this nurse, Cecelia Betts. She works there at Wellington Regional Medical Center, and she was with John Goodman after the crash. She told the jury, the whole courtroom, that she did not see any signs that he had a concussion and that Goodman didn't complain to her that he had any sort of head pain or head injury. Her notes from that night show she did a head-to-toe assessment of Goodman. She also performed that blood alcohol test. The defense, though, whose theory right now is based on the fact that Goodman had a concussion, not that he was drunk, probed Betts, asking her if it was possible maybe Goodman could have had those signs of a concussion before he got to her. She said it was possible, but EMT crews certainly would have noticed it. And the defense asked her if someone could have given Goodman a Vicodin at the hospital, and maybe that's why he wasn't feeling any head pain. She said no Vicodin was given to Goodman. She also said she noticed Goodman smelled of alcohol, but she didn't write it in the report.
Did you smell anything as you were with Mr. Goodman about his person that drew your attention?
Yes.
What did you smell?
The odor of ETOH.
Okay, what's ETOH for those of us who don't scribble quick notes?
Alcohol, but I did not put it in my nurse's notes.
Why not?
For this reason.
Now, the jury also heard from Deputy Robert Steffen, who traced Goodman's footprints from the scene of the crash to Lisa Pembleton's trailer. You may remember from yesterday, Lisa Pembleton is where he used the cell phone. So those footprints went to the trailer but didn't go any further. According to this deputy, he took a very meticulous approach, went step by step exactly what he did at the scene of the crime. And we certainly will keep everyone updated as to who's taking the bench next. Roxanne, back to you.
All right, Christina, thank you. Let's talk more about the details and specifics, because that's indeed what it's coming down to within the last half hour when the jury went to lunch. As we bring in our legal analyst, Michelle Suskauer, they went to lunch, but there was this major sidebar going on about hydrocodone and whether it will be allowed in to the questioning of the toxicologist this afternoon when they come back. So what's that all about, Michelle?
Well, this was something that was part of the pre-trial motions before we even had a jury in this case, and it was about whether or not the trace amounts of hydrocodone that were found in the toxicology labs in Mr. Goodman's blood work can come in. The judge initially said, yes, it can come in. Well, this toxicologist that's employed by the sheriff's office came in this afternoon, late this morning, to talk about it, but he said that he has recently changed his testimony based on some information that the state just gave him. And he said this is a different opinion that he got about 30 minutes ago. So basically, this was sort of an ambush to the defense, I have to say. And the argument is whether or not the hydrocodone should fairly come in if the state cannot say what effect, if any, it had on Mr. Goodman as to impairment.
And the judge is going to allow it.
The judge is going to allow it and really let the jury decide about impairment.
All right, let's go to something we've talked about, the length of the trial. During jury questioning, the judge said to several jurors who said they had an issue after today, the judge said, no worries, the trial will be over at least by Friday.
By Friday, and they said potentially Tuesday, but now it looks like this trial may last until Friday or longer.
So, what does that do if there's a jury member who says, no, wait a minute, I didn't say I had a problem because I didn't when you said that the trial was over on Friday, maybe Monday, Tuesday, I've got a problem now. Is that a problem?
Sure, that could be a big concern. The judge does have 2 alternate jurors, so someone could be substituted in. Of course, they don't want to do that, but that's the reason why you have alternate jurors. If there's a problem with one juror, and they absolutely have to be excused. But the judge is sensitive to that. He's trying to move the parties along, but also ensure that John Goodman receives a fair trial.
And when we first joined everybody at noon, we talked about the boots and the footprints going from the accident scene to Lisa Pembleton's farm to her trailer, and did they or did they not go to that, quote, man cave of one of his employees, a polo player, Chris Campson.
Right.
And did the defense accomplish anything in their continuing questioning of the sheriff's deputy investigator?
I think they did. I think they did accomplish the fact that the boot marks were inconsistent because of the surface of the road, because it was packed sand, because there was grass, because there was a swale. There may not have been boot marks that appeared, and the sheriff's deputy conceded that. So it may help the defense in saying, look, he didn't go the way that the state said he was going to go. He went a different way. He actually went to the man cave, then he jumped over the fence and went to Lisa Pembleton's trailer.
So they resume, the court resumes. Jurors are back in the courtroom to hear the toxicologist, who will be back on the stand beginning at 1:30. Now, this has been a day of details, and there is a lot more ahead throughout this afternoon with the testimony coming from these witnesses and these experts. We'll have a complete wrap-up starting for you at 4 o'clock on our sister station, WFLX, Fox 29, and then starting at 5 on News Channel 5. Our entire team is back here Monday morning with complete coverage. Reporting for the entire team who's been here all week long, I'm Roxanne Stein, outside the Palm Beach County Courthouse in downtown West Palm Beach. Back to you, Keely.
All right, thank you very much, Roxanne.